All right, music fans and truth seekers, welcome. Harmless Dave back again here talking about music and different issues related to music. But yeah, the stuff I've been talking about now for the past 3 or 4 years, doing it in somewhat real time for just a handful of real people out there. Yeah. So the story about Pearl Jam and Eddie Vedder. Look, I tried to keep a low profile this weekend, meaning I was spending time with the family. I got a miniature schnauzer that had surgery and she's still recovering and she's doing better, but it's a very slow process. And so I wanted to just chill this weekend. And so I apologize for not putting out a lot of content. I have another video in the pipeline talking about something that's going on in Canada. I don't know if this video that I'm doing now will air first or the other one will air first, but let's talk about Eddie Vedder. Eddie Vedder is the singer from Pearl Jam. He's an important dude according to the classic rock world, even though I don't really consider Pearl Jam as a classic rock band, but many people do. So we'll just go with the many people definition right now. Classic rock websites have this story on their web pages. Pearl Jam's Eddie Vedder calls recent health scare a near death experience. So he said this stuff out loud to an audience. After postponing 3 shows, by the way, I talked about the shows being postponed due to an illness. This is what's described every time. It's an illness. It's kind of vague, right? What kind of an illness? In the old days, people would just say, you know what? I caught the flu. I had a cold, had a sore throat, had a stomach bug. I used to hear those things, right? I went through the entire band. We had a bad batch of whatever tacos for dinner. And, we had to postpone a gig. And people thought, okay, thanks for letting us know. But everything is kind of veiled now in secrecy, or there's language that I'm not sure existed prior. I mean, yes, people will say so and so had an illness, right? And they've said that for a very long time. But it seems as though what's been going on the last 3 or 4 years, it's been more shrouded in secrecy or language to disguise whatever it is. That's just my opinion. You think some people think I'm crazy. There's nothing to see here, and I keep talking about this. You know why I keep talking about this? Because I get 2 or 3 of these per day. People who follow this channel, people who are patrons. I get them from other places where I do some private social media stuff. Anyway, so let's get to the story here again. So after postponing 3 shows due to illness, Pearl Jam returned to the stage in Barcelona Saturday night, where frontman Eddie Vedder opened up about the health issues they were dealing with. Fan shot footage posted to social media shows Eddie addressing the crowd before a performance of Wasted Reprise. I guess it's either reprise or reprise. I'm assuming it's reprise. Sharing the last week, it almost felt like a near death experience. What? Yeah. Last week, it almost felt like a near death experience. It was very uncomfortable and it got frightening. The comments came just after a performance of the song Just Breathe, with Vedder saying the issue was chest related. It felt like maybe you couldn't breathe. Maybe you wouldn't make it through the night. Maybe you'd have to go to the hospital, he said. Does that sound pretty serious? It sounds pretty serious. I wonder what's causing that problem. I wonder what the specific issue is. Well, he said it felt like maybe, you notice the vague language here? It felt like maybe you couldn't breathe. Was it that you couldn't breathe? Were you having difficulty breathing? Because that's different from it felt like maybe you couldn't breathe. maybe you'd have to go to the hospital. Eddie then noted that it wasn't just him. He said a few of us had it. All right. So let me stop here for a moment and just make a couple of points here. The language here is pretty scary. This isn't me. This isn't me. Yeah, I know. I do a lot of speculation here. Some of my speculation is wild because you don't get definitive information. So you make assumptions. Eddie noted that it wasn't just him. It was a few of us, meaning a few members of the band. He goes on to say, you just realize how precious this life is, how lucky we are to have been living on a planet where we could go round and play to incredible people like the people in this room here tonight. All right. So he's lucky. He's still above ground. He's fortunate to be playing in front of those lucky people. So it was a poignant experience. I won't be forgetting it anytime soon. And we won't be forgetting tonight anytime soon. Of course, no specific details on what this issue was. Remember 3 years ago, they wanted you to get tested, get a test, get another test. There are still people, by the way, still getting the tests. I had the test, came back negative. Okay, well, turn up that PCR test to a higher frequency, a higher sensitivity, so you can test positive. Turn it up. Next up, Pearl Jam plays a second night in Barcelona on July 8th, which would be tomorrow evening. They return to the U.S. on August 22nd with a show in Missoula, Montana. A complete list of dates can be found at pearljam.com. By the way, Barcelona, one of those places that really did what everybody was saying to do at a very high rate. In other words, most of the population did it. And they're going there. They're going there tomorrow night. So yeah. Look, folks, I'm not the one here saying this was a near-death experience. That was Eddie Vedder. He said it was a near-death experience. He opened up about the health issues, but didn't get all that specific about what the health issues were. Isn't there a doctor on staff that could diagnose what's causing this near-death experience? Or is this just a troll? Are they just trolling me? They know I'm going to report on this? I mean, I can't possibly be the only person that would notice this. But in today's media, right, the media landscape, the way it is right now, yeah, it's just wow, was that weird what happened? That's frightening. That's horrible. And then ironically, he does a song called Just Breathe and then talks about how he almost couldn't breathe. I don't even know. This is like writing itself. This is like time to do a face palm and think to myself, are they doing this on purpose? Because this just sounds like they're trying to get people like me to do videos about it rather than talk about how great the song Just Breathe is or how they really are a classic rock band. Pearl Jam, definitely. Put them in the classic rock category. We used to have a saying, it doesn't have to be old to be a classic, but it has to sound like classic rock to be classic rock. All right. And Pearl Jam does not meet that criteria. But for some people, it's way better than what they're hearing these days. I don't know. I think they pretty much started a trend and they're continuing the trend. Their new album is called Dark Matter, and apparently it was doing really well. I think it did better than the Bon Jovi album that came out. As far as what's causing this and why there seems to be a little gap in the information, I mean, the only thing you could do is like maybe start to interact with news media people. You know, if they have social media sites, go on and say, hey, so what caused Eddie Vedder's near-death experience? What was that illness? Because I'd like to avoid that illness. Personally, I would like to stay away from. What is that? Can we be a little more specific? So maybe we could save lives or we could at least prevent people from getting sick. Could we at least do that? Is that too much to ask? I'm running out of gas here. Literally, I'm just running out because I talk about this stuff. I know I have a few loyal patrons that tune in and say, keep at it, man. Keep talking about it. But is it really making a difference? Am I going to get 1,200 views on this video? 80,000 subscribers. I'm going to get 1,200 views. That's if I'm lucky, right? This is called shadow banning. It doesn't matter if the comments are on, off. Doesn't matter. I'm sorry. Nope. If it's relevant information, people are going to watch it. They're not going to sit there and go, oh, well, I'm not watching this because I can't rebut what he's going to say. Some people are like that, though. All right. Well, what's the rebuttal here, guys? What's the rebuttal? What's the illness? Anybody? Anyway, folks, here's the right thing to say at the end. I pray that whatever this is, that it stops. And that Pearl Jam, they're healthy and they're out there playing and they're entertaining their fans. They're not my cup of tea. I don't wish them ill will or anything. Shouldn't use the word ill. I don't wish them this. Okay. If it's something that can be prevented, something that we did 3 or 4 years ago or recently, and we shouldn't be doing that, then maybe I should pray for those who are in authority to put that message out, to stop doing what you did. That maybe we need to look into this a little bit. Seriously, because you know what? The people who believe in this stuff, who believe what I believe, they're 1,000 feet down the rabbit hole. I'm right near the surface, looking down the hole, but also looking back up and seeing all these people acting like nothing's going on. That's frustrating. Do I believe everything that's down the rabbit hole? Nope. But something is definitely wrong. It's definitely wrong. And I've said this probably now in like 100 different videos. Someone needs to do an investigation. Someone needs to collect data. Somebody needs to do a peer-reviewed study. Very mainstream, not like, an independent doctor over here, but we need the medical community to come together and say, you know what? I know we're getting a lot of money from certain companies that are promoting certain products that are supposed to fix this problem. By the way, that's the punchline. If that was the fix, it didn't work. It didn't work. He's telling you he had a near-death experience and he couldn't breathe. Well, that could be a number of things. And a number of them had it. Something weird's going on, but maybe not. Maybe, again, well, you're just speculating. This is a fact-free analysis that you're providing. It's anecdotal. Okay, it's pretty anecdotal. It's pretty in your face. He's telling you about his near-death experience, and I'm sitting here reading it going, no, this is just too on point with what I think it is. And he's saying it out loud. So anyway, I'm rambling. Before I go, I tend to listen to some different music, and I had some folks ask about this because I posted during one of my Sunday morning music Patreon postings, the King James Boys. It's bluegrass, right? And it's real authentic, and it's very on point when it comes to the lyrics. If you're looking for some hardcore, good old-fashioned Christian lyrics and doing it old school, these guys are fantastic. They are really good. Even if you're not into Christian music, if you like bluegrass, this is it. Or one of them. It's not it, but it's really good. My name is Dave. If you want to support this channel, Patreon, YouTube memberships, and buy me a coffee, there'll be links in the description for those things. If you'd like to support the channel, the algorithm, seriously, folks, the algorithm is going to hate this video. It's going to hate it. So I need people to offset. Patreon, honestly, folks, is the best thing for me because it's reoccurring. You can do $1 or $2 or $5 a month, and we can have little conversations over there. This weekend, I've been laying low because of the July 4th holiday and the miniature schnauzer still in recovery. So, in any event, folks, I appreciate all the patrons and just all the viewers. And I want to thank you guys for over 80,000 subscribers now and just some pretty good years doing this. Pretty good years. Hopefully, there are a few more good years left. And hopefully, we can all avoid the near death experiences and live long and healthy lives. Seriously.